Hello and welcome back. In celebration of Valkyr Prime being released, I'm going to do a video about Valkyr Prime. Why not? I've also got the nice shiny new Venka Prime, which also goes quite well. Anyway, I've got two builds for this, but first let's do a quick comparison. Her shield and health remain largely the same, but Valkyr Prime has 150 power to the normal Valkyr's 100 and an extra 100 armor. This build I am showing here is mainly built around Hysteria and keeping it for as long as humanly possible. Rage, just in case you come out of it, take a bit of a hit, you can go back in. Why not? This Hysteria build actually it costs 0.63 energy per second, and obviously as to the way she was changed, the longer you're in the more it costs. At max this build will cost you a little under 4 energy per second. Why not? So for those people that have been complaining that it's very hard to sustain Valkyr Hysteria, it's not. I'm telling you now, it's not. It's quite easy. Anyway, reason we got duration there is Warcry, as we are using the Eternal War mod, because, well, I'm sorry, her other mods don't really seem to live up to standard. Warcry increases your armor, just in case you do come out of it. You can basically keep it going infinitely from one cast just by killing more and more things. It increases your attack speed, and it decreases enemy movement speed. So let's have a little bit of a go at just what Hysteria can do against some pretty hefty enemies. Let's do 10 heavy gunners, and I reckon 10 bombards as well. Corrupted, of course, always corrupted. Now I have made MR23, which means I can put these bad boys at 145. There's the Hysteria, nice and purple, little bit of Valkyr. This is just a normal attack speed, and then you can go a little bit more crazy, completely wrecking your frames per second with Eternal War. But what most people do is just hold down a bit of the old E and do 6,400% extra damage in finishes. I believe her ground finish is actually a little bit more like 1,900 or something, but to be honest, who cares? It's one-shotting level 145 corrupted heavy gunners and bombards. Numbers are there for another day. Now, all we need to know is you're pretty damn immortal, you're doing a lot of damage, and, well, not only are you doing a lot of damage, you can one-shot them at will if you really want. Slide attack, always a good bit of fun, and you can just stand there. And for those of you that are still a little bit gripey about her energy consumption, I've been in this for a fair while now, and I've got plenty of energy. I mean, if there were like some health orb drops, maybe doing this with a Necros health orb, energy orb, maybe doing this with a Necros, or just if there was just more enemies constantly spawning, there might be a few energy orbs to pick up, which would probably help. Last few enemies, not really a big deal, can just cut through and cut through, cut through. One thing that you will need to get used to, particularly with higher level content, if you do plan on using the Eternal War augment on Warcry, you will possibly need to recast it, as it takes a little bit longer to kill things. Just to prove my point about the energy consumption, just gonna screw around a little bit. I've got plenty of energy, absolutely loads. Don't need to worry about it whatsoever. Stop moaning, people. She's absolutely fine. She's not received a nerf. It's just to try and stop people spending an entire mission in Hysteria, because to be honest, it is a little bit broken. I'm assuming DE knows it's broken, so they've tried to put a little bit of balance on it. So Prime Continuity, pretty standard. Prime Flow, Fleeting Expertise, Eternal War Augment, Streamline, Intensify, Narrow-Minded, Rage, obviously Steel Charge, and Power Drift. Now, this next build is a little bit more tanky. As you can see, I've got about 740 health, 1470 armour, which is pretty awesome. Range goes back to 100, but the efficiency and the duration decrease a little bit. Now, this build is actually based a little bit more around just generally being a solid tank rather than being an immortal Valkyr, hence the health and armour. Based more around your actual melee weapon, only going into Hysteria to heal when needed. As you can see, you are still pretty tanky and took a few good hits there and not too bothered. And great thing about Venka Prime is it does that, especially with Venka and 4 riders. The ground slam is pretty darn brutal. You can just, yeah, bye. Gonna give it another go. Hopefully this time we don't send the poor bugger for a flying lesson. Maybe we can actually get a kill. Let's give it a gander. Should be quite interesting to see. Okay, it's gonna go for a fly lesson anyway. One thing I have noticed about this weapon is their hitbox is its hitbox is just tiny. You literally need to be on point. But to be fair, it seems to deliver 3 slash procs per hit due to the 3 blades. Well, if you get a proc, it's done by 3 due to the 3 blades. And it is very good at whittling down health very effectively, even at high levels. Having it on Valkyr with Warcry just makes it a bit more entertaining. Just going to quickly show off the Venka build I've got. Prime Fury, Prime Pressure Point, Fever Strike, Shocking Touch, Blood Rush, Drifting Contact, Berserker, and Maiming Strike. Now if you want, you can remove Maiming Strike and put Organ Shatter on just for more critical damage multiplier. Not a big deal. I quite like the slide and I like the crit that comes with the slide, and adding in Naramon just makes it even funnier, but that's just me. It's only a one former build, so not too much effort required. The damage numbers, although they seem low, it's got a pretty good attack speed. Adding in Berserker when you get a crit at a 25% crit chance, adding in Naramon, you're going to get a lot of crits, particularly with the fact that you are going, with this build, the idea is to use Warcry with the augment, increasing your attack speed. The overall DPS involved with that is pretty much going to guarantee just a few, I reckon, just a few crits. Should be just enough. Sarcasm there in case you can't tell. But you should do absolutely fine. So I'm just gonna try again. Hitbox pretty small. Using the organ shatter this time to see if there's actually much difference in the actual damage dishing out. Can't really see much, although you can just see those slash procs going all the way down. So hope you had a nice ride there, you corrupted heavy gunner. I would say see you next fall, but I can't be asked dealing with the puns. If you don't have Venka Prime yet, another good weapon to use for this is Skindo Prime. Particularly with Tempo Royale. I would recommend my config C build. Bit of fun. I'm not using Berserker just for the fact that a lot of people like to try and use the combinations. Adding in the Berserker with Warcry and Prime Fury as I've got on this basically means you're not doing combos, your attack speed is just too great. But a good thing about this setup is once you've got Warcry going, you can hold the right mouse button down and do this combo over and over again, and they won't stand up. It is literally, you're on the floor, they're staying on the floor, you can make them your bitch. It's effective, really. Right. This is the Warcry build. I'm just using Hysteria here just to try and get rid of Stalker as quick as possible, but he keeps going into that stupid invulnerability state, which is really annoying. And he also won't leave me alone. I am aware that there'll be other builds that do a lot more damage in Hysteria, but the idea of this build is it's not so much hitting hard, it's hitting consistently and with pure ferocity. A little bit more like a cat, you know. Not going to be a hard hit, but there's going to be about 30 hits. Life support incoming. This is Mott in the Void, so these guys do hit pretty hard, particularly the crewmen with that silly shotgun. As you can see, they do hit very hard. And as I just said, the idea of this build, go into Hysteria, heal, clear out a few, come back out of Hysteria and continue on with Warcry. As always, there's that annoying thing of you think you've pressed Hysteria in time, but you actually haven't, and despite the fact that it will give you the casting animation and Valkyr's lovely orgasmic scream, you still end up dying because you've not actually gone into Hysteria. It's just lulls you into a false sense of security and then you just end up dying. As I said, Naramon makes it a little bit more funny because you're invisible, you've got more crit chance, you've got more crit damage, you're just generally a beast. So I'm just going to fast forward this bit and hope it's as entertaining to watch. Just turn into my little guy there for a second, why not? Life support on the way. Thank you for that, Lotus. Great information there. Sounds quite cute when she's sped up. Wonder what all this sounds like. But yeah, 740 health with 1,470 armor. Surprisingly, that sounds awesome. I won't lie. 700 plus health with 1,400 plus armor. You are not as tanky as you probably will think you are. These crewmen here will 2 or 3 shots, you're out. This is Mott. Well, in the Void, they are doing 300% damage. So you could say this isn't really a fair test, but still, it's pretty effective. Well, effective in proving you're not as tanky as you will think you are at very high levels. These guys are probably, well, just about 5 minutes in, so they're probably like level 45, maybe 50. Anyway, Hysterical Assault. Why am I not using it? Simple answer, it consumes energy per cast, and the longer you're in, depending on your efficiency, the longer you're in, the more it will cast. The evidence was shown there, if you can be bothered to use it. If not, Warframe Wiki, type in Hysterical Assault. This will be my main build. I'm not a particular fan of going full on Hysteria and just immortalising the living hell out of everything. I'll mainly be using config B. It's a bit more fun. I'd say it kind of requires a bit more skill. You've actually got to watch your health. You've got to sort of pay attention. You can't just press 4 and VE, VE, VE to slide attack everywhere. Anyway, that's me. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.